Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. Feeling well. I'm Ralph, and I'm here today with
Lloyd. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I kind of tripped over my words there.
Oh, me too.
I want to do. You tripped over your one word.
Well, I was hoping to do something a little more engaging than
you're
just
going to do a little shtick.
Kind of shout my name.
Look,
foolishly.
Folks, we're doing something different. This is a rare Friday night recording of Feeling Well. We usually record on Sunday, get it to you fresh on Monday, so we might have a bit of a different energy, get a little bit of that Friday night magic.
That's right. The work week is over, and we are kicking back and relaxing.
Mm-hmm. Lloyd and I turn to wolves on Friday night.
That's right.
Hide your holes. Kidding.
Oh, fresh out the gate.
It's Friday night, baby. You know what's so funny? About people getting canceled and everything? It's like everything sounds worse, like in text, because it's like, okay, so that was a heinous thing to say under any circumstance. But whenever we record, there comes a moment where I think about the things I said on the episode, and I just imagine an article where it's like, and Moffatone said regarding it being Friday night, warned viewers to quote hide their holes.
That's right.
And it's like
they can't see the peevish grin on your face.
Exactly, or that it's just an offhand remark. It's not like that makes it sound like I'm deliberately setting out to say that. Yeah.
No, of course not. You're a sweetheart, Ralph. We all know it. But how was the work week for you? You hanging in?
I had a bad week actually.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Because I got this hideous cut on my face.
I was just noticing that. What happened there?
It's so ridiculous it's going to sound like I'm making it up, but 2 nights ago at around 5 a.m., I guess I was having some kind of nightmare, but I was half awake, when you have I was cognizant of being in my bedroom, but it was still a dream or whatever. And again, I can't explain, it's dream logic, but there's a window at the foot of my bed with a curtain, and for some reason within my dream logic I was convinced that there was a trap, and to offset the trap I had to get rid of the curtain.
Oh.
So in my half awake state I started just kicking at my curtain until the pole it's hung on came unhooked and fell, and the butt of the hook hit me here on my upper lip, and just blood immediately streaming down my face. I applied pressure to it. I don't know. I went back to bed, but now I have this shitty cut on my face, and it's been making me depressed. I'm now sorry, pal. I'm now ugly.
Oh, you're hideously scarred,
and bums me out.
And who could love that face?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's made me upset because I've been doing some dieting for a while now. I slowed down a little bit.
You're doing the keto.
I've been a keto warrior, and it's like the second, the moment I started to take a little pride in my appearance.
Oh,
the Lord was like,
He sent a nightmare.
Not so, yeah. And it's so frustrating because it would be one thing if it's okay, whatever. Let's say I cut my finger chopping vegetables or something. It's all right, I was, I'm cooking a lot of stuff for a little shindig of having over the weekend. I got lazy or reckless. All right, fine, makes sense. I cut myself. But it's so stupid and specific. It's why did this happen?
Right.
Why did this happen to me?
Oh,
that's so stupid. In my sleep, I knocked the beam that my curtain hangs on off its hooks onto my face. Why would that happen to me?
I relate pretty hard to your frustration right now because I'm a longtime somnambulist. I do it all the time. It's
what's that mean?
It's just kind of activity in one's sleep.
Sleepwalker,
sleep talker. Yeah, I've been doing it since I was a kid, and it's kind of abated more recently because my life is more stable and I'm less acutely depressed. But my girlfriend in college, she would report finding me standing in the corner of the room, staring at her.
Wow, really?
Yeah, kind of
That must have been
really,
terrifying.
really creepy shit.
Yeah.
You know, she would find me like naked in the kitchen, like having poured myself a glass of water, like in the shower, just facing the faucet, just nothing coming out.
Damn.
Yeah, and then for years it kind of abated because this behavior started as a result of me working like this awful split shift.
There is such a darkness in you.
Assistant editor job, you know.
But you never hurt yourself.
I never hurt myself. There was one instance where, this kind of relates to what happened to you, because during this time it felt like the barrier between like dreams and reality was kind of difficult to parse for me. Mm-hmm. And so there was one instance where I was in bed with my girlfriend at the time, and
always bragging about the girlfriend.
Yeah. Not a big deal. It was nice. And
not a big deal.
I kind of remember sitting up in bed and like looking down and seeing a pillow. And like, okay, there's a pillow. That's where I want to put my face. And I just kind of let myself drop onto the pillow, but it wasn't a pillow. It was my girlfriend's head. And so I just clock her right.
So from her point of view, you're headbutting her.
Yeah.
You're assaulting her.
Right. You know, just.
And was she
sleeping
pissed?
Deeply? Well, she was shocked and horrified and betrayed. And you know, that's no one wants to have that happen to him. But that was a while ago. That was probably like,
so you sleep easy
7-8 years ago.
Days.
Yes, but then there was a period a couple of months ago where my job got stressful again, and there was like a lot kind of going on in my personal life, and you know, people would start to report me like talking and laughing quite loudly, like in the middle of the night. Like my roommates would be like, "Were you?"
How long ago was this? A few months, you said?
A few months ago. They'd be like, "Were you like you were cackling like a
the
maniac?"
Dang Joker.
Yes, exactly right. at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and like, you know, it's not a big deal, but like, are you all right? And I was like, oh boy, like that's a bad sign, because like now
laughing in sleep is not that bad, but you think this is an indication of some backsliding.
Just because I know that it is a thing that I am capable of. Like, as far as I know, I have not.
And it seems to be caused by stress.
Seems to be caused by stress. So that's why I gotta relax, Ralph. That's why this Friday night is so important.
That's right.
I gotta buckle down and have a nice time.
I agree. I have a lot of stressful dreams.
Yeah.
Right after that nightmare, I had a dream. I have a recurring dream. It's with different people, but I always dream that I'm having an impossible argument with someone, where someone is upset with me over something that's like a paradox that doesn't make any sense, and I'm just emphatically trying to communicate to them that it doesn't make any sense, that I didn't do anything wrong. And like that night, it was like my landlord. It's been like my boss. It's been friends. It's often been my mother. My mother used to yell at me a lot as a child, which was probably the source of it. But read into that what you will.
Sure.
But just like someone just asserting something that doesn't make any sense, and just me just tying myself in a pretzel, getting pissed, like trying to reason with them. But
oh boy,
yeah,
that's unpleasant. I had a really bad nightmare this week as well, where I was a murderer, like I had killed someone.
I've had that dream before.
It was like someone had hurt themselves very badly on a like an expedition of some kind, and I like put them out of their misery, but for whatever reason,
interesting.
Like my traveling companions like just decided to climb up about it, and
they were like, Lloyd, that was pretty
fucked up. You shouldn't have
that. You killed them. Were they like, kill me, please? Or
well, no, you know, kind of.
Because if not, that's slightly presumptuous.
It was someone who had injured themselves quite badly, and for whatever reason, I decided to just kind of smash them with a stump.
How brutal.
And
Were they like non-communicative? Or?
I don't remember.
Gotcha.
You know,
so when you say
it all
smash,
happens so fast.
When you say smash like a stump, do you mean like you took their head and smashed it on a tree stump?
There was a cut section of stump.
Oh, okay. So there was like a log.
Yes, there was like a log.
Wow.
And you know that doesn't. I'm pretty sure.
Just the image of you, just as a matter of factly, being like, well, Katie's hurt. Oh, here's a log. Just trying to help.
Yeah. I mean, I know why that image is there, because I killed my first mammal.
Oh, okay.
like a month and a half ago.
You went hunting?
No. My cat caught a mouse in my apartment, and like, you know, she caught it and then she brought it to me, which is, you know, a pretty common behavior in cats. And then she dropped it and like didn't have a plan to actually kill this mouse. And so the mouse was like, you know, flailing around and trying to escape, but like clearly this mouse is going to die, and my cat's not going to finish the job. And
doesn't have the moxie.
It definitely didn't have the moxie.
This is not Eugene. This is the elder cat.
This is the elder cat, whose name is Ida, and she's, you know, she was very proud of herself. But
so you finished off this mouse.
Yeah. I took it up to the roof, and I had a section of log, and I indeed smashed this suffering mouse to smithereens.
That's not fun to do.
It's not fun to do.
I
didn't enjoy
hate vermin, but that's not fun to do.
Have you had to kill a mouse yourself?
I killed a childhood dog.
Oh, really?
I had a dog, Fluffy, and we had this toy chest in the basement. And for whatever reason, I put her in there, and I closed it. And this was over the course of an afternoon, and she suffocated.
Oh, no.
No, I made that up. I'm kidding. I've never killed
Fluffy. Fluffy. That's I should have fucking known.
I actually did have a dog named Fluffy. But
really? Okay.
She lived. I don't feel
so bad now.
She lived to be 17. Actually.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah. And my mother would insist that I. 17 is quite old for a dog. It was a West Highland Terrier. And, you know, she lost control of her bladder. So my mother would have me take human diapers and cut out tail holes and then fix them to Fluffy and just awkwardly pulling it over Fluffy as she whinnied in a stressful manner. So, yeah.
Oh, that is not a dignified
not a dignified way out. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
A couple snapshots into my early life on the pod thus far. Yeah.
The only dog I ever had was I had a dog for about 2 weeks, and it was a senior poodle that didn't have anywhere else to go.
Meaning an old poodle,
like an old woman couldn't take care of this dog anymore, and the dog itself was like 16 or 17 or something. Damn. And he had one tooth. The dog had one tooth.
Shit.
Not having a great time.
So what did it eat?
It ate, wet pate.
Okay.
Wet dog food, and it lasted for about 2 weeks, and then it kicked the bucket, and that was the only dog I ever had as a child. I've met your dogs. Your dogs are nice.
My mother's dogs.
Yeah. Yes. Your mother's dogs.
Yeah. My mother has 5 dogs, and I'm going to disagree with Lloyd. They're not nice at all. My mother and younger sisters don't take care of them. They're all overweight. They're all dirty. They're all ill-behaved. Whenever I visit my mother, it's, you come through the door, they all rush you at once, and I hate that. They don't brush them enough, so I don't want to get shedded hair all over my pants. So I'm like, no, get the fuck away from me, go. I'm like pushing the dogs away, and then they're like, oh, Grumpy Ralph doesn't like the dogs. I like the dogs as much as anybody, but it's fucking overwhelming. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't want a fucking 30-second encounter to have me coated with hair all day. Like, that sucks to me. I don't want to live in that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to live in that.
Yes. Ideally, these dogs would be brushed more. 5 dogs? Did she get more? Or were there always 5 dogs?
Well, you met them on my film shoot.
Yeah.
She had 5 then, but 3 of them, the 3 most ill-behaved ones, were moved to a different location.
I guess I didn't know that. Well, thank goodness they weren't there.
Yeah.
The 2 were quite enough. But
Yeah. You met Wesley, the overweight bow-legged fucking, I think, a golden retriever. And then there was Damon, the Cocker Spaniel, who doesn't like me. It's a dog where it's like if you go to pet it, it doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's never got the tongue hanging out. It just kind of avoids you. And to like be rejected by a dog, it's like, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you, Damon?
So is this one of those rare dogs that is like it's not
Grew up
happy to be
surrounded
here?
by dogs. Whenever there's anyone outside, just a horrible cacophony of barking. It's awful.
Ugh.
It's awful.
I don't like thinking about that at all.
But it's fine. It's not that bad. But anyway.
Yeah, 5 dogs is too many dogs for a suburban single family home. Like that's quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
just like dander.
Most
and
of them
hair.
are smaller dogs. There are 2 big dogs and 3 smaller dogs.
But still, like,
but it's a lot.
Why 5? I cannot imagine having 5 dogs.
I mean, you know, she loves dogs. My sisters naturally love dogs, so it's like they can't help themselves. Every once in a while, they get that itch.
Soft-hearted. They just go out and grab another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People shouldn't own pets.
For the most part.
Animals are dirty. They belong outside. All right.
Get them out of here.
You know what I hate?
What's that?
Oof. This is a classic thing I hate.
Ooh. You got that look on your face. Yeah. Let loose. Ralph's about to let loose.
I hate memes that are like, okay, so you have a meme. It's 2 people doing a thing. I don't know. It's like a picture of 2 people. It's like when you and your homie do this or that, whatever, fine. You have a picture of 2 animals. Maybe you like, you're like, what's the word? Anthropomorphize,
yeah.
Yeah, the 2 of them. So it's like when you and people don't say bae anymore. What do people say for significant other? Whatever. It's
Sweetie?
like when you and your sweetie. It's like when you and when your girlfriend is hungry or whatever, some bullshit like that. But it's like the animals are an amusing substitute for the people.
Right.
They're an illustration. You know, that's fine. That's not what bothers me. What I think is fucking perverse is when there's a meme where it's one is an animal and one is a person. There's a lot of memes where someone's like, it'll feature their dog and then like their hand or them or something, and the dog is doing something, and it's like, you know, when your girl doesn't want your kisses or something like that or something or whatever, and I think that's fucking sick. Because people want to fuck their pets.
I
think there's an epidemic of like pet love, I think, going on right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just that the internet makes it more visible. But people are fucking nanners for their cats and dogs right now. And I think it's linked to like the epidemic of like millennial loneliness.
Oh, well, certainly,
so it's like people are increasingly, like they use the internet, using pets to kind of sate just like the gaping hole of loneliness inside of them. And they take it to a really unhealthy degree.
Absolutely.
To the extent that I feel like a few people may have like slipped it inside their pet just to give it a spin. I think that's where we're going. I think because it's really gross. And look, I'm not a prude. You know, I'm not a pearl clutch. But I see this content and it just like genuinely makes me just like feel like a Republican. I'm like, no. Whatever happened? This is wrong. Whatever happened to family values? Like,
oh God,
those memes. I'm like, this is grotesque.
I mean, sure. I mean, I think the reason that stuff is, you know, I think it can make you kind of viscerally repulsed for, you know, not necessarily reactionary reasons.
And here's the thing: if it was a video of someone just violently plowing their corgi, you know, just someone thrusting into the corgi with its fucking gelatinous frame and the dog not knowing what's going on. I'm not saying I would like that, but I'd be like, hey, that's a That's a horrible image. But it's the fact that it's much tamer than that, but it's trying to be cute. It doesn't know how perverse it is, so it's tacitly endorsing it. So like the image of you having like a tea party with your Cocker Spaniel is 1,000 times more abject to me than if you literally filmed yourself sucking off that Cocker Spaniel. I hate it.
God.
It's the ickiest shit in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
Is this nonsense? Do you know
no,
what
it's
I'm
not.
saying?
It's not nonsense.
I'm perfectly calm. I'm saying it's the tone. The tone makes it like a tacit. It's like you're denying what it is if you're just doing something openly, nakedly, a transgression against nature, I don't like it, but it doesn't offend me to the extent of something that is also that, but it's masquerading as like something cutesy, as a meme.
Okay, I think
if you're a sick animal fucking pervert, own it. Don't hide behind memes like it's okay.
I guess
it's not okay. Lay it all on the line.
That's okay.
Lay your cards on the table.
That is, openness is good, I suppose. No one can disagree with that. I think.
Do you not get what I'm saying?
No. Listen. I think I would approach that from the perspective of like when you create this content that is like pretending a kind of relationship between you and your pet that your pet cannot consent to. Like the pet is like you can have a relationship with your animal, but like they're not sentient. Like they are only intelligent up to a certain degree.
Sure.
And then like,
what's your point?
Like because your example of like the tea party or whatever. Like we are play acting with dogs.
It's
after
also
a certain.
It's also
point.
a different species, not just consent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but that plays a big role. Like the fact that you are projecting this image onto this animal, like. You're
saying the fact that there's like this oblivious lower organism being like like sifted into this
dressed up and paraded around and like
just to a pawn and just the
to appease the
emotional
owners.
Wasteland of its slaver that plays into why it's horrible and abject.
That
certainly doesn't help.
No. That's where I approach it. It is a this is a beast that is 100% dependent on you. Like it has no agency. It has no.
This is a good point. This is something that I've thought about before. Like people with their like pet love. There's nothing virtuous about pet love because it is love that is truly and genuinely unconditional. So like when I'm on OkCupid and the answer to one of your prompts is like, and it's like every fucking fifth person, I like dogs more than people. Yeah, you know why you like dogs more than people? Because dogs don't have a conscience. They don't have opinions. A dog is just slavishly devoted to you because it doesn't know any better, and you like that kind of love because it's uncomplicated and utterly submissive. And that's not something that should be celebrated as being more purer than other kinds of love. And I think a lot of people, they mistake that.
You know what? I think I agree with you.
It's another example of like people on the internet making a virtue out of an indulgence, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I see where you're coming from. That's it's not a good look. It is.
It gets out of hand. Look,
it gets out of hand. It comes from a place of real pain and loneliness, I would assume in most cases, but it can also come from a place of like laziness. And as you're saying, like the ability to
and unwillingness to engage with another complicated human.
Yes. They want like a nice, unchallenging relationship with a lower organism, which, as I said, not a great look for anyone. So relax.
That can't be it, folks.
That can't be it. It can't be it. Start your own group DM for starters, like for at the very least. But
yeah, don't join one with Lloyd because they're apparently full of pedophile apologists.
That was just the one, and that was a while ago.
One is bad enough, Lloyd.
No. I mean, to the group chat's credit, like they kicked this person out pretty quickly.
They were excommunicated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Were they?
Huh?
Were they?
I mean, yes.
You didn't say that last time. In the last time.
I think I was going to, but the conversation transitioned into a different thing. But no, it's gosh, you're not in any group DMs, right?
No, I've never been in a group chat in my life, as I've said. Yeah, don't have enough friends. Gonna have even fewer with this Phantom of the Opera scale wound on my face.
Oh, Ralph, it'll heal up in no time.
No, it's definitely gonna leave a scar, and it's in the worst spot. It's around the mouth. That's awful.
Okay.
It throws off my face entirely.
No, it's not that bad, man.
Just another arena in life in which I'm even lower than Lloyd. God damn it!
Oh,
I wanted to be the cute one. God damn it!
Hey. It'll be fine. Like, they got creams, they got ointments.
Yeah, I'm using the fucking creams.
Okay, just keep using the creams.
Oh my God. So I woke up early this morning. I'm having a Friendsgiving on Sunday, which Lloyd, out of disgusted pity, deigned to accept an invitation. But
come on, man.
Me and Lloyd are like Opie and Anthony. We actually hate each other off the pod. And I was like, look, it'll be good for appearances. And he was like, no, this is actually true. A few episodes back, I texted him about it. And he didn't. I said, hey, by the way, I forgot to tell you I'm having a Friendsgiving on Sunday. You should come. And he doesn't respond. And then the next morning, he just texts me, when's the podcast going to be up? Doesn't even engage with my original text.
Ralph, we have a constantly open channel of communication.
That's also not exactly how it went down, but I'm embellishing a little bit.
I was planning on attending.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't trying to be coy.
Sure.
No,
I'm not accusing you of that. I'm not accusing you of that.
And I will. I'm going to make a nice kale salad.
Actually, do make that because I can use some sides.
Yeah.
But anyway, I woke up early to. I'm doing the trendy fucking Bon Appetit recipe where you section the turkey ahead of time, and then you like just removing the breastplate, the legs and the wings, so it can cook more evenly on a baking sheet instead of all in one piece. Lloyd is frowning because he's a traditionalist.
No.
But anyway,
I don't disapprove.
I sectioned it and started its dry brine. Which isn't really relevant to what I'm saying. But anyway, I was up early in the morning and I'm feeling self-conscious about this cut on my face. And I'm leaving to work and I'm crossing the street. And maybe it was my imagination, but I'm like thinking about the cut and I'm just thinking about my life. And like I said earlier, I'm like, why did this happen? What the fuck? Now this is another fucking thing. It's another fucking thing I'm doing. And like, I swear to God, this woman as I'm crossing the street is like looking at me with like this confused and disgusted expression. Maybe it was my imagination, but she was like looking at me and making a face. And I didn't, but I really, like I was in a place where I really just wanted to be like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Oh.
You know? And just like increasingly... It's like you see people who have like public meltdowns, like that bagel guy who went viral, and you think like, how does anyone behave that way? Like that's unfathomable to me. But it's like increasingly, I feel like right now, I just want to absolutely lose my shit. I want to fuck everybody, and it doesn't last long, and. I temper it, because I know how to control my emotions, but it's like I feel that sometimes. And the thing is, like, you never know what somebody is going through. Like, you only know like a fraction of a fraction, and I think that's underappreciated. Like that, well, it was a little fucked up, but it's like that guy, the Dayton shooter. He was like a regular seeming guy who liked the same accounts on Twitter that you and I liked, listened to the same podcasts. And it's like, he ended up like shooting up a whole place, including his sister. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just don't access that much of people on an everyday basis. And it's like, I'm not there, but it's like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like the dang Joker, and it's like, I think to myself, hey, maybe I want to go out with a bang. Maybe I can, take one of the Clintons with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Kidding.
Oh, not actionable. Parody.
Kidding.
Parody.
But my point is that it didn't take a lot, and it was a brief window, but I was in like an extreme place, and it would have just taken a little bit more for me to have acted in an unreasonable manner. And I guess that's how it happens, you know? You never know when someone is like kind of at the end of their rope, and then that's when you get the public freak out.
I suppose not. Yeah.
You ever have a meltdown?
Did I ever have a meltdown? No, did I ever have an actual meltdown?
I haven't had a proper meltdown, but I know several people who have.
Right.
You're a bottle it up kind of guy.
I'm more of like a natural setting kind of guy. Like I will.
What do you mean by that?
My self-control is pretty good, Ralph.
Sure. You push it down.
Yes, but I find ways for it to get out.
You fight the devil in your sleep.
Oh, I mean, by that I mean like to kind of deal with loads of anger and frustration. I will usually do some kind of very strenuous exercise.
You've never felt the temptation to be like, what if I just fucking unloaded on this person right now?
Oh no, I mean
the temptation, I'm saying.
Of course,
Yeah.
man. Like it's, I think everyone has that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And if you were just pushed a little bit further, maybe you take the Metro North to Connecticut because you can't buy guns in New York. You pick up a gun from kidding,
no. Parody.
Kidding.
No, I don't think I've been super close. There was one time when like I like
you ever get into a fight, like a physical fight?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, but when I was a kid, like not as an adult. Like,
What's a kid?
Yeah. Huh?
What's a kid?
Teenager.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think
You're a man of peace.
I try to be. I think I'm just like hyper aware of how easy it is for me to just like hurt people without meaning to. Like,
meaning you uniquely how capable you are?
No, just like I'm a large man.
Yeah.
I'm a large man. I take up a lot of space. I have these big swinging knees and elbows, and like,
okay, sure, I suppose.
And so I feel hyper vigilant about my proximity to other people, and like,
well, sure, but I mean, like, but if like a guy is like,
well, sure,
on your ass.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it is the times where I feel like I don't really consider violence against people that are shorter than me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's
like
if
people,
if it's significant, that's a reasonably common thing.
Like people who like seem to present.
But no, I haven't been in any real fights either. I mean, you do that, you're a fucking animal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I take my fucking karate classes and shit like that. But
now, what's the real thing you do? I call it karate classes.
It's kickboxing. It's Muay Thai.
I thought it was the other thing.
What?
Krav Maga?
No.
Where do you do that?
Krav Maga? I never did Krav Maga.
Really?
No.
I guess I'm confabulating you saying that.
I think. Do we know a guy that does Krav Maga? I think we do.
I think you told me whatever it actually was, and then maybe I confabulated whatever the most pretentious sounding one was.
Yes, most likely.
Like classic.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
whichever one made it funniest to me.
That makes a lot of sense. No. Yeah, I mean, I
like that I said Krav Maga.
Krav Maga,
country singer.
Maga, yeah. A physical fight. I'm such a personable guy.
I've been punched in the face before.
Just sucker punched, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I was like antagonizing the person a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they just kind of wheeled back and they got you before you could dodge or get out of the way.
They did, and then like people broke up the fight. I was very drunk. They were also quite weak, fortunately. But you ever been punched in the face?
No.
That's good.
Not in a uncontrolled setting. I did like...
As opposed to what?
Well...
For a movie?
This is a little embarrassing. I did the... Me and my friends like fought each other in high school, like as a kind of... we wanted to do the Fight Club thing. Like we wanted to be...
Get Out.
I'm serious.
Wait, was this like after Fight Club came out?
I mean, quite a while after Fight Club came out.
Yeah, because
that's
Fight
an old
Club
movie.
came out when you were like 10.
Yeah. So it wasn't like related to the release of the movie.
Okay,
but I think
it's a very teenage boy movie.
Sure.
So you started a Fight Club.
Not by myself, but I was...
you and your friends.
Yes. And so...
Is this the fight you were referring to?
No.
Okay, but go on.
But it was like, rural kids, really bored. Like, what were we? We were like 15, 16. No. We were over driving age, and we would just
okay.
we would like go
pretty old for that.
Old enough. We would go to,
wow.
Like,
so you were like an older teenager and you wanted to start a Fight Club.
Right.
Damn. Okay.
Not a great look, I would say.
I just find it interesting, but continue.
It's not my...
Makes you sound like you were a bit of a punk.
Factoid.
Bit of a punk.
I wasn't,
in high school.
Though. I was like a real...
Yeah, I know. That's what's so confusing to me.
I just wanted to, in a wholesome fashion, know how to harm another human being.
Okay.
I guess and
was it like an interest in like the actual sport of boxing or martial arts?
Well,
like, was like that the angle?
Not really. It was more just kind of like being tough and like, a kind of, there was a generalized anxiety about the world around us. And
where'd you grow up? Where are you from again?
New England, like central New England, like not.
For some reason, I always assume you're from Ohio.
No, common misconception. No, I'm from like a forested area. Like not a lot going on. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of jobs. Like
right.
Yeah.
So
post-industrial,
ruralish.
Yes.
Gotcha. So you and a couple of good old boys.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Hop in the old pickup and head on down to the
go strike each other.
Yeah. Where was it? So there was a parking garage and there was a train yard, like, abandoned train yard. And like this didn't happen that many times. It was like a few times, and then some of us got started having sex, and like it was one for the history books, but
sure. Yes.
So there was like that was.
I could definitely see sexual frustration motivating teenage boys.
Oh yeah.
Striking each other. Yeah.
It's just release of any kind. Mm-hmm. It's no good. No one got hurt or anything. It wasn't like a...
But you got clocked a few times?
Got clocked a few times, like got a, bloody nose or two. Mm-hmm. It was fine. It was whatever. It was kind of lame. It was very lame.
I was kind of hoping there'd be a more extreme...
I wish I had something for you.
Topper to this story.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. Ugh, what a letdown. I set this whole thing up, but no, just had a short-lived, wholesome Fight Club.
Sure.
In high school.
Well, I guess that's the best version of that scenario.
I suppose. But
so I spy on my coffee table a piece of paper.
Oh.
So as I said, I was... the other night I was depressed over my mutilated face, and I was drunk. So I lowered myself, and I guess you were a guest on another podcast.
I was.
And I saw you post about it
boys.
on social media. And I was like, oh God, rolling my eyes, not listening to that, but then I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to the, because here's the thing, Lloyd. See, when you go on another podcast, listen, this is what you have to understand. You're not just representing yourself. You're representing...
We're supposed to be a team here.
You're representing the team.
Oh.
You're representing me,
Yeah, of course. Of course, Ralph.
You and I... like if you dress like a slob, it's like I'm dressed like a slob. If you go on a podcast and you say something racist, it's as if that racist sentence came out of my mouth. You know?
Yeah.
You represent the company. You know?
We're supposed to be family here.
So we
look after one another.
So I listened. And I took some notes. All right? I took some notes.
You took notes.
The listener probably has not listened to the episode that Lloyd was on, but
if you're interested, it's the most recent episode of Liquid Flannel podcast, entitled "Talking About Astrology." I think
that was the title.
So if you want to be kept up on this, like, pause this podcast, go listen to that, and then rejoin us at this point.
Or you don't have to. I'm just going to read what I wrote.
Okay.
Because I'm just gonna. It's just you'll get the idea of what Lloyd's talking about. Okay, so my first note is Midsummer again. Keep talking about this fucking movie. You already talked about it on our podcast. I was bringing up Midsummer. Came out like 4 months ago.
I know. It's contentious. It's contentious is all. Like people either really liked it.
I feel like everybody liked it.
Not everyone. I've a lot of people think it was really corny. And gotta hear all sides.
Next note. I wrote, hate when people say comrade. I do hate that.
Why?
You know?
Why though?
You don't agree with me?
No.
Dude, that is so fucking pretentious.
I think it can be in certain situations.
We've talked about this before. I hate the fucking cosplaying of the left. Like, who do you think?
Oh, come on, man. Like it is relevant in certain situations. Like, I don't think it's
it just rubs me the wrong way as a thing. Like,
well,
why
of course,
are you saying
because,
comrade? We're trying to like include more people. You're just going to alienate them using this fucking antiquated word.
That's the thing. Like, you and me, like, we're Bernie bros in Brooklyn. Like, we're not fucking
exactly
like leftists. Like, okay, like we're not leftists in like Georgia or Tennessee.
Yes, that's my point.
And so a lot of the times when I see people calling each other comrade, like they are in rural chapters.
No,
like
the people in Georgia are not calling each other comrade. It's the fucking people in Brooklyn.
They are. Like,
no,
absolutely,
way, dude.
Because they rely on one another in like a much realer way than we do.
Then they're the hippest. You have the wrong perspective on this.
What are you fucking talking about?
No, that's
what do you mean I have the wrong perspective on this?
No, because like what like 3 people from the Midwest who say comrade. That's because they're on like the right kind of like cliquish hip part of Twitter. I'm talking about like everyday people who are not like 26 and on Twitter. They're not going to respond to the word comrade. And also I just think it's lame. Like, the left's future is not going to look like its past. Stop saying comrade. Stop singing the fucking old Soviet songs at the DSA meetings or whatever. Just like, that's dumb. Just like talk like a person who lives in 2019. Like, comrade. You've agreed with me about this in the past.
No, I haven't.
You've said to me, I was complaining about this, maybe not comrade specifically, but you were like complaining about like tankies who like dress up in old like fucking Soviet uniforms.
Well, that's one thing. Like,
but I'm saying this is a relative of that.
I disagree.
Why can't
entirely.
we? But like, why use a vernacular that has like an association with like this like fairly distant past that the average American, if they have any awareness of it at all, has a distaste for? Like, why can't you just why do you have to say comrade? Like, it's just like, it just feels like a pose to me. It just feels poserish and lame.
There's an incredibly robust history of the labor movement in the U.S. and like it's not some like distant Russian thing. I don't know if we said comrade.
I'm saying specifically about the word comrade. I'm not saying like about emphasizing solidarity. Of course, I'm in favor of emphasizing solidarity.
Well, dude,
I just think it's a pretentious hipsterist
no. Like,
thing.
shut the fuck up for a second. Like, they didn't just
shut the fuck up, asshole.
They didn't just say
fuck you.
Comrade in Russia. Like, it was like a lot of the history of the left. It's like it's very explicitly like an international.
So they said
movement.
it in America.
Well, yes, after a fashion, like not at the genesis of it, but it was. That is not a part of the.
But that is not a part of the American consciousness. Everyday Americans don't say comrade. It is clearly a pose.
So you think it should just be some like neutered new
I don't know
expression.
I don't know why you're using the word neutered. I think saying comrade is neutered. I'm just saying I feel like it makes me think when someone says comrade, it makes me think something. It makes me think the person who's saying it is adopting some form of leftism because to them it's just like a trend on the internet. So it's like, yeah, comrade. Let me put a hammer and sickle in my bio.
I mean, that's how you view everything. Like
That's true. That's not true of anybody. That's not true of a lot of people. That's lame.
I mean, you're just wrong, Ralph. Like,
I'm not wrong. You're wrong, motherfucker.
No.
You're wrong.
No.
Shut the fuck up. You're wrong. That shit is fucking cringy as hell. That shit is cringe.
Oh, sorry. Hey, sorry.
That shit is fucking cringe. That's what I'll say. Next note. I'm grading you here.
You're so sensitive about this stuff, man.
I'm not sensitive about it. I'm just saying it's annoying. I don't think the amount of angry I am right now is at you. I only think saying comrade is mildly annoying, but your defense of it is what makes me mad. And the fact that you told me to shut the fuck up. How dare you?
You were talking over me, man. I was trying to get a word in edgewise, and you just kind of barreled through.
Yeah.
And so I told you to shut the fuck up because I wanted you to shut the fuck up.
Tell you what.
So I could get a word in edgewise.
Oh, cool. I got another word for you. Cuck. That's what you are.
Oh, fuck you, man.
Fuck you. This is only my second note.
Keep going.
Okay. Third thing I wrote was, oh no, it's a politics podcast. Didn't know that. Listening to Lloyd talk about politics for an hour, not something I want to do, as evidenced by our previous exchange. 50 minutes of Lloyd saying, oh, wow, comrade, well, foo, bah, boo, with that fucking hemming and hawing. Not something I want to listen to.
That's not what I did, though.
I don't mean that. Look, no disrespect to the podcast.
That's.
I'm just saying. That goes without saying.
You're talking about a version of me that doesn't exist.
Next note.
Okay.
Use the word worm too much.
Worm?
Use the word worm too much. Use that a lot. That's becoming another annoyingly overly prevalent Twitter word for me, is worm.
Just for me or for everyone?
Everyone, but especially
Especially me. Okay. All right, fair. Continue.
All right, look, I was in a bad mood when I wrote these notes. All right.
You were drunk and injured.
Okay. Next thing I wrote was the ballot initiatives passing was, quote, sick, Lloyd? Was it? So just you going like, yeah, and hey, some of the initiative passed, and that was sick. It was a sick thing that happened, So I bitterly singled that out.
Yeah,
I really went through the episode with a fine tooth comb.
You sure did. This is.
Lloyd was talking about, I guess, like local New York politics. There was an election in New York recently.
This is a bad sign.
What's it a bad sign of?
Never mind. Continue.
This is a good sign. We're cooking with Crisco here. All right. This is what the listeners want, is a little tension. All right. Next thing I wrote was paused at 32:26 to watch pornography. All right, that doesn't really relate to you. So, next thing I wrote was say menacing too much. I think I meant says menacing too much.
You know what?
That's been a word you've been liking lately.
It is.
Menacing.
That's a fair critique.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Credit where credit's due, Ralph. You're right. I do say menacing too much.
Thank you. Thank you for being an adult and accepting my criticism with a modicum of maturity for once. Next thing I wrote was getting drunker, ... You don't know shit about space, Lloyd. I don't remember the context of that. I think Lloyd was talking about the futility of humanity terraforming somewhere beyond the Earth, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but this guy was mouthing off like he was Neil deGrasse Tyson over here, all right?
I'm just saying it's a lot of pie in the sky.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but
it's not. I never claimed to
be a space expert.
Ralph. Like that's,
next thing I wrote was just
a mischaracterization of what I said.
It's all right, comrade. Next thing I wrote was, quote, which we hate to see, folks. You told me you were cutting back on saying you hate to see it.
I mean, doing that show was kind of the. That was like a realization.
The threshold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I hate to see it.
Oh.
And then next thing I wrote was Futurama? surprised to hear Lloyd likes something funny. Because at one point Lloyd talks about watching, going to sleep watching Futurama DVDs.
Yeah. Futurama. It's
great show.
Delightful.
I have the DVDs on my DVD shelf right over there.
That's nice.
And that was the last thing. That was my last note. After that, I just skipped to the end to see if you plugged the podcast, and you did.
I did.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to come at you like this, Lloyd.
Hey, no, I don't feel came at.
You're wrong about the Comrade thing, though. That shit is lame as hell.
To a certain type, I think it does read as lame. I agree that it is. It's a very loaded term.
Why do we have to? But the reason someone says it, you can throw whatever anecdotal thing at, like, well, actually, in a conference in 1933, the union leaders in America. No, the people who say it, the young people who say it today, is because it's like they're thinking of like fucking the Soviet Union or whatever. So it's like it's deliberately a tribute to that, which I think.
But it's not just the Soviet Union though. Like it's been part of like left movements worldwide.
Okay,
for
that may
a long
be
time.
That may be true, but that is
it's
how
just,
Americans.
It just is true. Like, but
colloquially, it's associated with the Soviet Union. That's how it exists in the American consciousness, and that's what people are invoking when they use it. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a high crime, but I just think it's kind of lame to do that, and I think it's lame.
I mean that's listen, like I don't think that someone like you or I should use the word comrade to describe each other, even though our politics are like vaguely
these people would
similar.
Not otherwise use that word ever if they were not on Twitter or Red Jacobin. That's what I'm saying.
True. That's just not true.
Who uses the word comrade that consistently normally in America?
I mean, Ralph, like all you know about left movements you see on Twitter. Like you don't. Like, am I wrong? Like, do you organize in your off hours? Like, you like
no,
this is all you see. So, like, you don't. So you don't know.
So you
like,
organize in your off hours. What I do know is what the fucking the average American doesn't use the word comrade. You're telling me in the few unions that exist in America, they use the word comrade at meetings? That's my point. You only use it if you're a Twitter lefty. It's posing.
I don't think you're making the point you think you're making. Like,
don't fucking tell me.
I don't think you are.
Like, you think I'm making?
You just think it's cringy because you're very sensitive to things that are like not.
I think it's not productive.
That are not like
I'll tell you. No.
Accepting of irony in like an acceptably
it has nothing to
robust fashion.
It has nothing to do with irony. What I think it is that it's evidence of a tendency of certain people on the left to like kind of fetishize the idea of politics. It's not about actually making moves and doing things. It's about like assuming a pose, and I think it's alienating to the unconverted to like pose in that fashion. Like because I genuinely don't believe that like the average American hears the word comrade and they feel a sense of familiarity, you know? If anything, it's like, you know, a slightly eccentric word choice, or they associate it with the Soviet Union. So you do labor organizing.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. So you're just as fucking ignorant as me, you fucking pretentious asshole. Ralph, everything you know about is from... you too, bitch. Fuck you.
Like,
unbelievable. You don't have a fucking leg to stand on. Everything you know is from left Twitter. It's fucking too.
I know people that are in...
you know people.
Oh, now you're just being a fucking asshole, dude.
You're being an asshole.
I'm not gonna talk about this with you if you're gonna act like this. Like,
you're the person who said, I don't know what I know, when you don't even have the same lived experience. How fucking hypocritical is that?
I don't think it's hypocritical at all. Like
how dare you say to me in an argument?
I'm freely going to admit, like I don't call anyone comrade. No one calls me comrade. But I do know people that do.
We're operating from the same well of information, and yet you said, Ralph, I don't think you know any better. You said
we
that
know
without
different
knowing
people. We know and interact with different people, Ralph. Like that's not. Like
okay.
That's just.
So you're
that's
an authority because you know a friend of a friend.
I never said I was an authority. Like I'm saying that you're being very dismissive and like. You know,
I'm making a genuine point. I'm saying that I think that it's it's alienating to the unconverted, and I think it's evidence of just kind of like turning politics into a corny masquerade instead of making moves. Like, why do you have to say comrade? Why can't you use a more familiar word? Like, you're doing that because you want to align yourself with a certain kind of iconography, which I think is a superficial impulse.
Well, to that, I would say first, like, a lot of left movements are very aware of like the history of these international movements.
The average American, I'm talking about.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking
about the fucking dyed-in-the-wool people who are going to DSA meetings or something. I'm saying, like, how is that attractive to the people we should be courting? You hear a couple 20-year-olds say, thank you for picking up my salad, comrade. Like, how is that not just a little bit distancing?
No, you're right, Ralph. Everyone should just be normal. That's
what a cop-out. What a cop-out.
No,
he had nothing, so he's suddenly feigning like he's above the argument.
No, like you're inventing scenarios that are like...
So you don't think there's an iota of truth to what I'm saying? You think it's completely unfounded?
I think that people that are receptive to a lot of these ideas in the U.S. like would presumably be able to look past...
Who are we trying to invite into the left? Who are we trying to invite into the left? Just like everyday people, whatever, call them whatever you want, middle class, lower class, whatever. They hear the word comrade, and that's something that's familiar to them. Is that what you're alleging? Because that's what matters.
Middle class, lower class people. I mean,
the average person in America who we should want to bring into the left, they hear the word comrade, and that rings some positive bells for them. I'll admit, for many of them, it'll be neutral. They'll be like, okay, yeah, comrade means friend. But to some, it'll seem kind of weird. And like, maybe I am hypersensitive because I'm like drenched in it, so it's like, all right, do we really have to say comrade? We get it. We're all on the same page. But in what scenario does it help recruiting those everyday people?
I mean... You're viewing it as a recruitment tool, which I don't think is its usage or its intended usage at all.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's part and parcel with like the image that the emerging left is projecting. And again, I'm not saying this is a life or death issue. It hardly fucking matters. But to me, it's a synecdoche for how the left presents itself. And to me, in like these like hipper quadrants in, New York or wherever, people, they kind of like, they get up their own ass and we're like, yeah, we're the left. Hey, comrade. And it's like, all right, well, that's not the attitude that's going to appeal to like the people you should be courting, which is like average Americans. You shouldn't be, it should be like the left's future is not going to look like its past. Like, you should be using language that appeals to that average person who is not on fucking DSA Twitter.
Well, I think there's a big difference between, actual teenagers who like dress up in ushankas and greatcoats and like,
obviously that's much worse.
Like that's one thing.
Obviously that's a million times worse.
Then there are people who are doing actual organizing who oftentimes are not in these kind of, safe metropolitan urban areas, that are in rural areas where there are like actual dangers associated with being like associated with left parties, and for whom the use of the word comrade is like, it's not like you and I calling each other friend. Like it's a much different thing that's based in a lot more, shared experience and kind of trust in one another.
All right, that may be.
So,
but what I would say to that is that person is someone who is uniquely involved in politics.
Sure.
So their perspective is going to be different. I'm simply saying that like people who have not been politically activated in America, who would be, persuaded by the left, the word comrade doesn't mean anything to them. And there are, I think, some scenarios in which they would find it, a little eyebrow raising. And it's like,
well,
but whatever. I don't really give a shit about this issue.
I think for that reason, a multi-tendency front is the way forward. So,
but it is a thing that like, and just like the fucking just like singing like the fucking old hymns at like DSA meeting. Like that's so fucking embarrassing. Like just like create a new aesthetic. Like at least give me that there is a strain of people on the left who like love to cosplay and like invoke like past failed communist regimes just because it's a fucking look, and that is not helpful to like to involving new people in the left.
Okay, well, obviously, like
that is a thing that exists.
It is a thing that exists.
You've described it to me yourself before.
I know I've described it to you, but I'm saying like you can't distill that down into like one word that has been used internationally for a very long time to describe a pretty specific relationship. So, like I'm sorry for telling you to shut the fuck up earlier. I think I got maybe a little unnecessarily antagonistic. I agree that some people cosplay. Apology. I'm not. I think I was getting a little defensive. I can do that sometimes.
You know what? I know what point I'm trying to make, by the way, too.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not having it. I'm not taking your fucking bullshit olive branch. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No.
God, I hate that we talked about politics on the podcast.
Yeah, we fucking did it.
I mean, this isn't exactly talking about politics.
It's talking about aesthetics.
It's
as
talking
it relates to
around politics, really.
Yeah. We haven't really outlined a vision for the future, as it were.
Folks, look, I know that I argued ardently a point that can be filed into the political realm. I just want to reemphasize, whatever you want me to believe, I'll believe. If you listen to the podcast, still, I know I've outed myself as something of a passionate lefty here. If you want me to change, I'll change. You want me to go fash, I'll go fash. You want me to like fucking Elizabeth Warren or Pete Buttigieg, I'll do that too, folks. Everything is second to the podcast. So I just want to emphasize that. And if it upset you to hear me and Lloyd argue with each other and swear at one another, I'll be nicer to Lloyd in the future.
No, listen.
If you like it, I'll raise hell every episode. Just tell me what you want. feelingwellpod@gmail.com.
We're here for you, folks.
My principles are an Etch-a-Sketch. If I express a view emphatically on this podcast, just as emphatically, I will express the opposite view. So,
okay, I think
you like it when you like saying "comrade." Hey, comrade, listen to my podcast.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I think we're
about there.
This was a fun one. You know
what? It was it was not a relaxed episode.
It was not relaxed, but I feel invigorated though. Listen, you know what we're gonna do?
Friday Night Vibes. Were surprisingly tense.
Oof. Yeah. Hey, but this was a fun one. Hey,
but no, Lloyd, I'm sorry for getting mad.
No, we kind of lost our temper for a second. We did. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna.
But people love that. Mm-hmm. People love that.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna push stop and we're gonna shake hands and make up.
That's right.
It's gonna be nice.
Anyway, fuck.
Yeah.
Like how people fuck their dogs.
Oh God, bringing it back around.
That's right,
folks. Follow us on Twitter @FeelingWellPod. Follow me @Void Howler. Follow Ralph @PLS. God help me PLS. Mm-hmm. Email us at feelingwellpod@gmail.com.
That's right, and you can follow me on Instagram @RalphMaffatone. Lloyd, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Ralph. See you next time.
Bye.